Mile High Club. What's up?
Here goes.
What's good? What's poppin', everybody? It's your girl Rosie from the Mile High Club. How y'all doing today? Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. And with me today, as always, is the beautiful voice of reason, Miss Dora.
Thank you for tapping in with us. Season 3, episode 4. It's a good one. I can't wait.
I know, me too. And introducing our very special guest, hailing all the way from Costa Mesa that I just found out 5 seconds ago. And also representing Island Block all day, all the time. We have Everybody Loves Lulu, Myz Lulu in the building.
Oh my gosh, ladies. Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be officially on the Mile High Club.
Yes. We were honestly...
Besides the unofficial Mile High Club stuff
Oh, yeah,
I used to do.
Her children are also here too. So
Yeah, by the way. Bad Mom Club. You know, I'm in all those clubs.
But how are you? How are you doing today?
I am doing great. I, could be worse, could be better, so I'm good.
Yes. Love that.
Every day above ground is a good day.
Yes.
Oh,
So.
I need to take that.
Please, anything I can offer, take it. Take it.
I should remember that one. But if you have not checked out our last episode, Dads and Don'ts, where we talked about... I forgot. Go check it out. Go check it out on YouTube. And if you're not a YouTube visual person, you can check it out on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, and anywhere else that you may get your podcasts from. Wherever that is.
Twister, huh?
Yeah. No, yeah, that's a lot.
All the words.
That's a lot of all the words.
You know, your S's, if you had a list, well, you're fucked, you know.
No, yeah. Apple Podcasts. Spotify Radio. But and if you have not already, also go ahead and follow us on the official Mile High Club Instagram page. And if it's great, it's fantastic. But also don't forget to follow Myz Lulu. Please go ahead and drop your handles
At MyzLulu at Myz Lulu.
and go ahead and big shout out to Island Block Radio for bringing us together, bringing all of us together, and giving
They
us
literally
community.
are the glue a lot of the time. You know, Island Block Radio has just kind of been the connector for a lot of people, especially Pacific Islanders. And so sorry for that earthquake real quick. That was my daughter jumping off the couch. Wow, we keep it really grassroots around here.
It's fantastic. It's great. But we're going to go ahead and jump into a check-in with the voice of reason.
No specific updates from me. Just working life above ground, you know. Keep on trekking. But what about you, Rosie?
I have been on a few dates. By the time you guys see this episode, I've been on a few dates. Have any of them worked out? No, but but I have been on them, and I am back in the dating scene. So yeah.
So hit her up at 900.
My number is
877-6
For a long time, not just a good time this time.
No,
right?
yeah. I'm looking for, honestly, that's like probably my biggest update. I'm looking for a relationship. I'm not looking for a short term. I only want long term and like for eternity. That's all I want. I want forever. That's what I want. So that's my updates. What about you, Miss Lulu?
Well, I do have a forever, although we just renewed our contract, you know, because you have to make sure you check in with each other and it's still forever on both pages. Nothing really significant happening in my life except for the beginning of the year. 2023 has been a complete shit show. I'm not going to lie. So February, I don't know if we're able to tell what month that is. Okay, well, February is looking up already, but the month of January 2023, I threw out my back doing what? Old people shit. I don't know. I woke up and it was... I've never thrown my back out before. So it was really odd that I woke up and I'm like, what is that? And it wasn't doing anything crazy, like hanging from the chandelier. I wish.
I know. I was like, oh, what was you doing, man?
I know. I wish. Okay. I was like, I was in that pretzel. And all of a sudden, no, not even anything exciting like that. So that was a bit frustrating. I was out for 2 weeks and then I had some kind of virus and then it was just, I was like at the chiropractor a lot, and I'm sorry, I don't know if you wanted all those details, but that's what's happening. And I really wanted to share it because it's on my potty break about the first time I got really high.
Oh,
yes.
Fun.
Yeah, in the Mile High Club. I
yeah,
love to share it on the Mile High Club. Oh my
This
gosh.
is where you share that.
Yeah. Well, okay, so I was at the chiropractor every day, you know, trying to get centered and realigned and all that fun stuff. And so I had gotten some CBD oils and ointments and stuff, but then there's also these gummies that apparently had THC in them, and I didn't realize like what the milligrams were. It didn't say.
Oh no, it's
Right.
It definitely should.
It'll say.
Yeah,
It
right. I
should
mean, I
say
think
it.
that's a safety issue that needs to happen. Luckily, I put them in a place where the kids couldn't reach it.
Oh yeah.
Looking back on, I'm like, oh my gosh, this would have been terrible. Anyway, it was this square little gummy, orange gummy, tiny thing.
Right,
I think
always
it was like
orange.
less than it was like the size of a nickel, maybe. And I've never, like maybe I can count on less than a hand when I've had a gummy, and it was never like this. Because I'm already high on life as it is, and
Yes.
so I don't really need any help with that.
If you've ever met Lulu, you know that she don't need it.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I'm here for your entertainment always. And so it was right before, it was like on a Tuesday,
Yes.
you know, Tuesday, Wednesday, because the kids are going down to school next morning. I got shit to do. And I was like, I just need to not feel pain and go to sleep.
Yeah.
And I took this orange square thing. I was sleeping, and all of a sudden I started levitating. I was like, what in the actual fuck is this? I was not ready. So I started, my body left my body.
Yeah.
Right? And
Uh-huh,
so
yeah.
I was like astral projecting
Yeah.
from looking at myself.
Yeah.
And then as like everything was vibrating and on fire at the same time. And then I don't know how I found some kind of balance to just sit up a little bit, and I saw God. So that was great too. Then I found my legs and I was stumbling around. Luckily my brother was there. And as I was opening the door to his room, I was holding the package of these little
orange
gummies,
gummies.
and I was just like looking at him, kind of like every horror film,
Yeah.
probably. I was, my nightgown looked like a moo-moo on top of it. So I was looking hella crazy.
You look like you about to kill your brother with some gummies. Is what that looked like.
So he's staring at me. I'm staring at him, and I'm trying to feel my mouth, right? Like to be able to
you
say
want
words.
to come out and your mouth isn't moving.
Your mouth is like.
So bad. Oh my God. I think I mustered out, I think I'm high. And he just starts busting out laughing. No empathy whatsoever. He just starts laughing his ass off and guides me to the couch in the living room, because the kids were sleeping. I didn't know what to do. And Mata's at work.
Yeah.
And then I sat on the couch and I became the couch. So that's what it felt like. I just was one with the couch.
You're like that commercial, that old school ass commercial of that kid who was just like on drugs, but he was like,
Oh yeah, that was me for sure.
Yeah.
And I only know that's exactly what I look like because my brother decided to film me for 20 minutes.
oh, of course, yeah,
I mean, it
as
has
brothers
to
do.
be done.
Yeah, as brothers do, because brothers just do nothing
Oh
but
my
cause headaches and don't help. Shout out to my brother.
Yeah, it was good. It was not a good time actually. As I was on the verge. I mean, I could see my molecules and my atoms. Like what made me out. I had
You were
no
having-
skin. I
you were
had no
having
skin anymore.
The best trip ever. you
Oh,
were having
yeah.
the best trip of
All
your
I
life.
could say was
That
like,
was-
I do not like this. I don't like it. And then I start laughing and I'm like, I don't like it. I don't like it. And then it's like,
You're like, I don't like it.
I don't like it. I don't like it. And then come to find out, I took a 50 milligram piece of candy, and it didn't register to me because I don't know what's an appropriate amount of milligrams to be taking.
Not 50 for your first
Yeah.
try.
Definitely not 50. That's all I know.
Yeah, so that's what they said. They said, "Oh shit, 50 is a lot. Usually you start with maybe like 2.5."
Yeah, no, literally 3 like
Yeah.
is like a max for me.
Oh my god.
Well, there's
No wonder why I died. And came back to life.
No, yeah, literally.
I'm surprised they gave that to you because they'll like give you low doses and tell you like cut it in half or
Yes.
something. They're
Yeah.
supposed to tell you
It was
whoever
a trap.
sold it.
I don't know what it, but there was literally like 20 of them in this bag.
Maybe
so
they
I'm
just-
going like 50 each. I said, is it the whole bag 50? Or is it like, no, they're 50 milligrams
Yeah,
each. I
yeah,
said,
one little one.
what the fuck? You trying to get an elephant high? Like what the hell?
Right.
I'm like, I know I'm thick, but damn, you know, give me some warning next time.
They gave you the professional bag. They didn't give you the beginner.
They thought, oh yeah, she
knows what she's doing. Yeah.
Her husband's in Island Reggae. Yeah, for sure.
She's like, they're potheads. They're not gonna feel
Her
nothing
and
over.
Snoop are best friends.
Yeah.
Totally makes sense.
She's like, she can't. She has to have something over 50.
Yeah.
Because anything under, she's not gonna feel it. Like that's exactly what they were thinking.
Was terrible. Never again.
I will say,
maybe I'll just sniff one next time.
no, yeah. Maybe, let us know if you actually protect again.
That's what my brother says. He's like, next time, tell me before you take this shit, so I could be on your level. I'm all.
Oh, yeah.
I don't ever want to be on this
Yeah.
level ever
Yeah.
again.
You're like, if anything, I would just cut it all the way down to like a little itty bitty,
Yeah.
and then I'll take it, and then we can give you the whole rest of the thing.
It was crazy.
I
That was
will
not
say, like, even though it was a terrible moment for you, that was the best update I've heard anybody say.
I know, yeah. Usually it's like, I don't know. Been around. Yeah, that's the best update we've gotten. I
best
think.
update we've ever had on the show.
Well, thank you. I'm glad I could share it here. I thought it was very appropriate being on the Mile High Club and
yeah.
talking about being high for the very first time in my life.
Thank you. So to anybody out there, any artist or anybody else who comes, any business owner, whoever comes on this show, you gotta, what your update should be like.
Thank you.
You know what that gave me? You just gave me a new idea for the new question we're going to ask. We're going to ask, what's the first time you got high? Because people ask us, do we get high on our show? Because official Mile High Club.
Right,
But
right.
we don't smoke.
Yeah, we.
Well, that's me too.
We're high on life. Yeah. That's why.
This is the high on life crowd right here. Okay.
Yes.
I'm gonna call this the Mile High Club.
The officially naturally high, right?
Yes.
Mile High Club.
This episode is gonna be named something great. Okay. There's gonna be natural and high in there somewhere.
Yeah, but thank you for your inspiration for our new question. Thank you for updating us on your first time.
Oh, yes.
Getting high.
It was my pleasure. Not my pleasure, but
No,
my
yeah,
pleasure
yeah.
to share it
To
with you.
entertain. But with that being said, we'll be heading off to our first music break. This is Time to Go by Teo Jr.
Saw you up in the club, needing love, you ain't coming with me. You try to double. Flame on!
Welcome back, everybody, to the motherfucking Mile High Club. And that was Time to Go by Teo Jr. We'll be heading into Flame Out with Rosie.
Alrighty, everybody. So I know I said that we are gonna get a pickle and jar update, but that's gonna come in the next episode. So stay tuned for that one. But today with the lovely Myz Lulu, I love talking to you so much that I didn't want to just like solely like keep this like in the category of like what I usually do with people. I wanted to like actually like speak to you and like have you, because every time I talk to you, you like give me life. So
Oh, thank you. Likewise.
So-
the feeling is mutual
thank you.
for both of you.
Thank you.
I know. I see Rosie more than I
know,
see
yeah.
Miss Dora.
She's always at Island Block stuff.
But
it totally makes sense. The voice of reason. I can see it.
You get me? You get me? Because I make really bad decisions without Dora. Honestly, I think, personally speaking, I feel like if Dora was there for a lot of the Island Block stuff that we do, I wouldn't be as, I wouldn't be as dumb as Joe like gets upset about.
What are you talking about? Well, then Dora, you can't come ever. Because we love that Rosie.
I know. You guys are a good time.
We are, but some people just say, don't doubt.
They just can't hang. They
No,
can't, all of this. They
Joe's
can't
just
contain
trying
it.
to control your two personalities. That's what it is. You can't control it.
Well, he's probably thinking Myz Lulu already has multiple personalities. I can't be having another person that has. I've already taken 10 years of trying to figure her ass out.
He's like, I know how Lulu is. I don't want to figure you out.
So just listen.
So just listen to me. Love you, Joe. But going into this segment, I just wanted to like speak very generally with you and just get your opinion and advice on a few things that I feel like you are very well informed on.
I hope. I mean, I've been alive a little bit. Hopefully I can offer some kind of gems around here.
Oh, yeah. So how long, I mean, you've been together with Matza for a very, very long time.
Yes, it's we've been together 12 years. We have our 10th year wedding anniversary this year. Yes. So big decade coming up. Hence why I was like, okay, we'll renew our contract.
Yeah.
Every 5 years we do a review of each other and see if we want to carry on. And
Yes.
and it's still a yes.
Yeah.
It's still an I do.
Oh, yeah, it's an I do. If y'all saw them on my birthday, it was definitely an I do.
Yes, we were in rare form then.
But I wanted to ask you, because you've been in a very loving relationship for so long, I wanted to ask, what do you feel is the foundation or the cornerstone of having such a long lasting relationship?
Wow. It's so funny that you asked this question, mainly because I ask other couples who have been in a long-term relationship, right? And I can't believe we're even in 10 years married, 12 years total together. Well, personally for me, I married my best friend.
Yeah.
Right? So I know a lot of the time that sounds cliche, but he really is my best friend. Hey, turn that shit down. Sorry. And that's the product of our love right there. Yeah. So being best friends actually really help, right? Because I get to be my real authentic self a lot of the time, and he's seen the good, the bad, the ugly, and the uglier. And he's still around, and vice versa. Yes. And vice versa. And I think the other thing is learning to really grow with each other, through all our changes, because that's definitely something that I see a lot of couples struggle with.
Oh yeah.
Is the communication, obviously being able to be open and honest with each other, and trying our best not to judge each other, right? And our opinions and our insights when it comes to certain things. And it is fucking hard. Marriage is one of the, before I became a mom, marriage was definitely the hardest, one of the hardest things that I've ever experienced in my life. And it's a work in progress. So the biggest thing is knowing that to just work hard at love. A lot of the time in my relationship, I know that I love him 100% of the time,
right?
But I do not like him 100% of the time. Okay. And that's the same as being a mom too. I love my children all the time, forever, but I definitely don't like them all the time.
That's a wild ass thing to say.
With them sitting right here.
I know. They know it. I tell them, I was like, I love you, but I don't like you right now. Okay.
Yeah. But that's
okay. Yeah. Our moms have said definitely.
Said that to
My
mom has definitely said a little bit worse. Yeah.
So yeah. So being best friends, communicating, being as honest as possible with each other, and learning how to grow with each other's changes, I think have really helped us, and working hard at love. So one of the biggest, that when I asked that question to my family members, or my family members who have been together for over 50 years married, right? Like their biggest thing was that I said, are you still in love? Right? In that romantic sense in my mind, what being in love is. And they said, well, I mean, not that frilly movie shit that you see in love. We love each other, but it becomes more of a companionship. And it's learning how to really like each other as well. So my grandfather told me, he said, I fell in love every weekend is what it felt like. It's like that lust and love. I mean, when with different people is what he's saying before he met my grandma. Right. He's like, I could falling in love is the easy part. It's actually enjoying somebody's company and genuinely liking them and spending time with them that made me marry your grandma. And I was like, oh my God, Notebook.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Tearing up.
I know, it was beautiful. It was very grounded and very realistic, and none of the frills and frosting of what you see, right? Like in the movies and the drama,
or even on social media.
Yes. Being equipped with that helped me in my daily walk with my husband. Definitely.
So if you were like me and in the dating scene, listen to this episode
Yes.
because that is something I needed to hear.
I think it's also not having unrealistic expectations, because knowing going into a relationship that you're not going to find your perfect match, because none of us are perfect to
Right.
begin with. Knowing that going into a relationship, you can then be gracious with your differences
100%.
and really embrace your similarities and what you have in common. But the differences are definitely what makes it exciting. Just like they say, opposites attract. But to be completely honest, you don't want to be too opposite either, because then you're just oil and water, and that shit is gonna flame out really quick.
Flame out.
Had to add that in there.
Yes. See, this is why I love
She just knows the rhythm.
you. Can y'all tell that she's been doing this for so long? Like, because I can. And speaking of doing this for so long, just to switch gears a little bit into something completely, absolutely different. I love talking about love. I really do. For somebody who has barely been in love in her life, I love talking about love. But I also wanted to ask you, because you've been doing this for so long, did you always know that you wanted to either be on a camera or behind a mic or on a radio or just doing something dealing with entertainment?
You know, I've always wanted to be on stage somehow, mainly through acting. That was my background and my love. Ever since I was little, I remember growing up in Samoa in our 2-channel TV.
Yeah.
I would memorize everything that I could, whether it was music, whether it was, a movie that I was watching or a show, and I would mimic all of the characters and try to act out all of the characters in one person, hence my multiple personalities.
Yeah.
But in Samoa, we didn't have a lot of opportunities when it came to the performing arts.
Oh, yeah.
Music, of course, and choir, but it was very structured in a certain way that wasn't really, it wasn't about like being a solo artist, or it was always like in a choir form in church,
Yeah.
in that kind of format, versus being a mega superstar
Yeah.
that I wanted to be. Or at least that's what my thoughts were when I was that little. And then when I came to the States, those opportunities and those windows opened up for me.
Yes.
And one of the first classes I remember taking was a theater class, and I just fell in love. I fell at home. And that's where, I did the responsible thing, right? Of being in communications, but really my focus was wanting to be in theater and wanting to be in acting. So I used my communications to really strengthen my theater and all that fun stuff. But then later on in life, because I was also a professional athlete for a long time.
I was going to mention that too. Man went to the Olympics.
I did. It's so crazy being the age that I am now and looking back, and when I get down on myself on, oh, fuck, what have I done with my life? Where has it gone? Oh, my youth, my beauty, my energy. And then I'm reminded, right? It's like, oh, okay. When I think I haven't done much in my life, I was like, okay, I did that. And I
You did that.
I did this. And, but it feels so, talking about out-of-body experiences, it feels like it's a completely different lifetime.
Oh, yeah.
Being a completely different person, doing those things, So, but yeah, so I was an athlete, and then I got to come to the States and really focus on acting. And I was on the fast track for that until I got into a relationship and it wasn't with Mata, it was my relationship prior, right, before Mata. And we were completely unaligned with, it was the first time that I actually took a chance on love. Like, really, I'm going, okay, because a lot of the time I was so focused on my ambitions and what I wanted to do that anytime, all the relationships I've ever been in prior to this real relationship, right, or this fully committed one, was I fell into them. It was more like I fell into them in the sense of we'd hang out, and then all of a sudden I'd be introduced once upon a time as, oh, this is my girlfriend. I'm like, oh, okay. You know?
Yeah. You're like, oh, that's what we doing?
I'm
Oh,
like, okay, cool, sweet.
Yeah.
But it didn't have a lot of gravity for me because I was in a relationship with myself, right? Very much so. And I didn't have room for anybody else. And I also wasn't, looking back on it, brave enough to say, I'm not ready for a relationship. I can't give you what you want, or there wasn't really communication about it, you know? And so a lot of the time I got broken up with because I didn't show up. I wasn't there. I wasn't fully committed, you know, and there's only so much that you can fake it. And so when I'd be broken up with, like, oh my gosh, I really am into this, but I feel like you're not into it. And I said, you deserve better. I totally understand. That's really like, it became almost a script.
You deserve better. Honestly, like,
it's like, obviously it's me. It's totally not you.
Like, your feelings are valid.
Oh my gosh. But then I finally was like, okay, I'm in a place in my life where that's one thing, especially in acting, you try to imitate life. And in imitating life, you want to be as close to the truth as possible, right? It makes it that easy to, it's like when they say, when you're playing a part or when you're lying about something, make sure that you're lying with telling the truth so that you're not having to lie about so many things, right? Like, okay, maybe I'll change my name, but the whole history is still the same.
Exactly. Yeah.
So that you can keep all that shit together.
Yeah.
Well, that was the same in this relationship. Now I'm going, okay, I can't really imitate love and being in love if I've never felt it, if I've never given love that kind of chance. And when I got into that relationship, I was all in. I'm that type of person where when I'm going to commit to something, I'm fully head first, feet, hands, all of it. My whole body is like in this, mind, soul. Yes. Okay.
Yeah, that's
so
definitely
you can really,
That's me.
and when I did that, it became such a vulnerable state. It almost felt like in acting terms, what was it called? Like when you're a method.
Oh yeah,
actor,
method acting.
right? So
Yeah.
I was this person now. It's like, this is what everything that he needed, I was going to be. Fuck what I wanted, or fuck what my thoughts were on certain things, right? And
I've been there.
yeah. So when we got together, he wasn't okay. Beautiful person, just a beautiful man, and I'm so glad that my first time really being in love was with him. But
Shout out to you.
right, you know who you are.
I'll find you.
But I will never forget the situation where it started to kind of show the cracks. I was still in acting and I was still doing, and I got one of the most prestigious roles out of hundreds of people, and I was chosen. And in that role, I had to kiss my
Counterpart,
my counterpart, my co-actor. And I was all excited about telling him about the script and stuff. And my boyfriend at the time, he was like, wait, what? You're going to have to kiss this person? And I said,
That's not what acting is.
Yeah. And I was like, wait. And to me, I thought it was understood, right? You met me as an actor. This is what comes with the territory.
Yes.
I mean, yes, I have certain boundaries about nudity and actual sex scenes, but kissing is the most minimal
thing, for actors.
interaction if you're going to have a love interest.
Oh yeah.
And I'm sorry, but I have the face of a leading lady.
Yeah.
Let's just be real. Supporting actors, I'm all about it, but
It ain't my fault that they want me to kiss somebody. Okay, look at me. I'm great. Okay, I deserve to want to kiss somebody. Okay.
oh man, and it broke my heart because he knew what he wanted.
Yeah.
And he thought I understood, even though it wasn't communicated, and I thought vice versa. And he was going to end our relationship right there and then, and I had to choose. And I chose him.
Oh
yes, girl. This is the Lulu that you don't know.
Yeah.
no, yeah.
This is the growing pains.
I think that's why I was so shocked. I was like, "Excuse me."
we thought a different answer was going to come out.
So we were together for 4 years. It was definitely 2 years too long. So, and that's kind of where it started to, fizzle out.
Yeah.
And because then there's that whole resentment that comes into play, right? But long answer to your very short question, have I always wanted to be in entertainment some way, some form? Yes. What I'm doing now is something that I have never thought that I was going to do. Radio was never a thought in my mind.
Really?
Yes, not even an inkling. I always thought I would be either on stage in theater or in front of the camera.
Right. And now you do both.
Yeah.
And it was a very roundabout way of going, but here I am.
Oh yeah. If you guys haven't been to an Island Block concert at all, well, first of all, we do like a bunch. It's the concert series at the House of Blues. But majority of the time, Myz Lulu over here is hosting and emceeing the entire show. So it is always a great time if you are in that crowd.
It really is.
Regardless of wherever you are in life, if you are sad, if you are mad, if you are happy, or all over the place, you can come to the House of Blues and watch Lulu on stage hosting a show because you'll feel so much better. At least to me.
I hope so. I will make a fool of myself for you. Always. That's my motto.
Yeah. I agree with that because I do too. And then afterwards, we can all head up to the foundation room and watch each other be fools.
Yes. The real authentic us.
No, yeah. You want to see some fools? That's the real authentic fools right there. But I love that. What I love too about you is that like, even though like we kind of like travel down these other ways of like answering questions and you just kind of branch out into a new story, I love that it always like comes back to like, I don't know, it connects all the questions together. So like the first question, obviously, you know, what's the foundation of the cornerstone? And then you bring in, you know, you talk about your relationship with your first love out here. Full circle, y'all.
Yeah. Yes, definitely full circle.
But for real, shout out to whoever you are.
I heart you still.
I don't heart that guy that you were back then though, but yeah. But and you did touch on how you didn't, you know, ever think that you were going to be in radio or that you didn't think that you were going to be doing like, especially such stuff that you're not doing, like you're doing right now.
Yes.
So you used to have a show called Lip Service.
Yes, that is. Servicing everybody.
Yes. Yes. Everybody remember that show. But I remember talking to Joe one time and he basically told me that he knew that you were going to be the person who was going to be like be able to take on the role of the lip service lady, you know, like just talking about it because you're so comfortable talking about it and you're very open and everything. So I wanted to know, like, how did you get to that point of being so open about such taboo topics, especially in our community? Because I mean, granted, it's changing now, and I feel like a lot of people in our community, younger generation mostly,
are getting more open.
And talking about it. So for you, how was it during that process?
I love how you were trying to be so sweet by pretty much saying that I'm old as fuck right now. Back in my day.
No, you're not old as fuck. You're just older than me.
This is true.
You're like an older sister, but like my oldest sister.
It's like, don't lie, I'm like auntie status now. Okay, damn it.
No, because you still act like a sister. That's why.
You're still a good time.
Yeah.
Well, that's shout out to all my aunties that acted like sisters my whole life.
Yeah.
And still are those. Well, I was fortunate enough to grow up in a family that was very open-minded. I'm from Samoa. So I didn't move here to Long Beach until 19. I was like, wow, there's 19. No, that's like not 19, sorry, 2000. And I moved to Long Beach officially in like 2009.
Oh, okay.
I came like in 2007 and did some stuff, but I was doing my athlete stuff, you know, my sport at the time. And so then when I finally settled down, it was 2009. Growing up in Samoa, I mean, when you're growing up in Samoa, you talk about being muzzled a lot of the time. Children, for the most part, and especially being female, you are seen and not heard, right? And that's just our way of life. I didn't know that there was another way until I moved to the States, and there was, but I did know in a certain aspect because of my dad. My dad was an avid reader. I swear the man was a genius. And he was this big fish in a little pond in Samoa, to where he very much encouraged his children to question everything, to look outside the box, to be more open and receptive to all these different ideas, because coming from Samoa is literally this little rock in the middle of the ocean. I mean, we are a speck. You will go through the globe a gazillion times before you realize that that little speck is actually a place.
We're in parentheses, y'all.
Yeah, yes, exactly. You gotta do like they do like the magnifying.
Yeah.
Like, oh, by the way, there's this group of islands over here. Where these big giants live.
Like for such small islands, we have very big people. For a tiny place, we produce bigness.
Exactly. So I already had that foundation, me and my brothers, and I'm the only girl. I'm also the oldest in my family, and he just wanted us to first of all be readers, and that was our way of escaping our little island, right? Not the culture, because I'm so in love with being Samoan. I'm grateful every day waking up knowing that I am in this exclusive club.
Oh yeah.
You know, we get to be like this needle in a haystack among the billions of people in this population, and we are not even talking about the million club, you know. And so it's really cool. We're a rarity, we're a niche, and it was fun to just kind of come to the States and use all of the stuff that I read about and with my dad, and then now having the platform to be a little bit more open, because my mom though is completely opposite. Like she's more traditional Samoan. Talk about opposites attract. Like my mom was a quiet strength, and she actually is the one that I get my personality from. Like she's vibrant, she's full of life, she's glass half full all the time, whereas my dad is more realistic and down to earth. And my mom she's about today will take care of today, or today is what we have, tomorrow we'll take care of tomorrow. My dad is like, okay, well, we still have to think about tomorrow.
Right.
Let's plan for it and prep for it, right? And so having those two worlds come together, it was because my mom, that's one of the biggest reasons why I wanted to have Lip Service as a show, because growing up, not having sisters, for one, I had older girl cousins that I would confide in all the time. But when I had my period for the first time, I was not prepared.
Oh yeah.
Because we don't have the talk.
Yeah.
You know,
You just think you're dying all of a sudden.
yes, and that's exactly what I was feeling. You couldn't have said it better. I was like, oh my gosh, Mom, I woke up and I was about to go to school, and it was late in my 8th grade year. I was going into high school, so I was a late bloomer apparently. And I was bleeding from the no-no spot. And I remember taking a shower and thinking, this is it. This is how I'm going to die. How embarrassing. I'm bleeding out from my vagina. You know what I mean? Like, that's how I'm going. Really, God, that's what you got set for me. And my mom, I wake up my mom, I'm like, Mom, I'm dying, bleeding from my freaking vagina. And she was like, she just starts tearing up and hugs me. And I'm going, I really am dying.
Yeah.
This is it.
I was like, that's like the best and
way to go.
best and worst thing your mom could have done right there.
It's true, then. It's really true. Like, you plug it up with something, which I find out later you can, right? But she goes, no, it's your period. And I'm like, what the Mom, how could you not tell me about this shit? You know? And so she goes, we get a pad, and luckily there was the ultra thins with wings, you know, back then. Okay. I was like, oh, Mom, thank you. It wasn't some piece of cloth that you're wrapping around.
Right. Yep.
How she grew up, that she was explaining to me. I'm like, oh, damn, y'all had that real hard. No complaints here. That's one of the stories that really fueled me for Lip Service.
Yeah.
That experience for me, not knowing about sex, really, like what I learned about sex, honestly, was through pornography. When I had the freedom to actually search and look for stuff, and during dial-up days of internet, we were like, what the fuck? Get off the phone. Right, but not even dial-up though, because like we had the actual videotapes.
Oh yeah.
The videotapes was like they were hidden somewhere in the house. I was like, or my cousin had a videotape that we were all
crazy.
just like, what? And the Playboys.
Yeah.
And that was my education on on sex, right? And intercourse and where babies came. Like it wasn't a bird that dropped it off.
Nope.
Yeah.
Like you didn't just get it out of the ground.
Yeah.
Like some taro. Like you like it actually came out of in that education. It was like I had to find out on my own a lot of the time. So reading the books and trying to figure out that I had a second, multiple holes down there.
Oh,
I'm
yeah,
like,
yeah.
wait, so you don't shit out a child.
Oh,
You know
yeah,
what I mean?
yeah,
It's
yeah.
like- I was like, and that's not where the penis goes. Well, not always, but
Yeah,
you know
no,
what I'm
yeah.
saying? Like,
If you're ready for it, then yeah.
exactly.
Which most likely aren't your first time, that's for sure.
No, please don't. Please don't do that. No, not the first time around. But yeah, so I just wanted there to be a safe place
Yes.
for people that looked like me to be able to ask whatever their heart desired. And if I didn't know the answer, I could at least connect them to a resource that
Right.
had those answers for them. It was a long way around, and I just wanted shortcuts for everybody else.
Yes.
Like, please know that you're not by yourself when you have these burning questions or you have these feeling ashamed. And because that's another thing. I mean, religion is so organized religion in Samoa is the forefront, right? In God we trust pretty much is our motto.
Yep.
Yeah. Samoa is for God and God is for Samoa. So everything, even thinking about sex or thinking about intimacy or thinking about how babies are, it feels like a sin.
Oh, yeah.
That's pretty much what you're being taught when
Yeah.
you're growing up. At least that was my experience.
Oh, no,
And,
yeah.
but luckily, like I said, my dad was very open-minded and my mom was she was great to kind of roll with the punches. when
Yeah.
it came.
She's like, I guess.
Like my dad goes, we need to prepare these kids for this. And my mom's like, oh my gosh, ew, don't
Yeah,
talk
yeah.
about it. We don't talk about it,
Ew.
Because in Samoa, you're not allowed to date.
Oh,
a lot of
yeah.
times, like you don't date. All of a sudden, you get married. You're like, how?
You're like, who even are you? Like, how are you?
Wait, what? It's like, so you're hiding all the time when you're dating. And then when you're of age or when your family's ready for you to have their grandbabies and you're like, why aren't you married yet? You're
Yeah.
like, well, shit, I didn't even know I was allowed to date
Yeah.
yet.
Oh, yeah.
It's like-
You told
Thanks
me.
for the heads up.
No, yeah.
So, I know, exactly. So yeah, hence lip service was born.
Yep.
Where we were servicing everybody in every form.
I love how every question I ask, you have an anecdote attached to it. Makes me very happy.
Well, that comes, I think, from also culturally, we're storytellers by
Yes.
nature. And yes, definitely want to get it related to
No,
that. Or some personal experience on how it came about.
Oh, no, yeah. 100%.
Oh,
Ooh, yeah. Same. That's exactly what I think.
but grandparents, that's the thing right there, though. Let's be real. Like my parents and my grandparents, you think about it, they have so many kids.
Oh, yeah.
yes.
So obviously they're very prolific in the art of
Right.
sex and they know how to do the damn
Oh,
thing.
yeah.
And I often wondered how they found out about it. You know what I mean? It's like a lot of the time it was through personal experience. It was them having to find out the hard way. But then when there was the videotapes and there was like all this other kind of under the mat, under the fala, hiding stuff, then yeah, it was their way of educating. It's like, man, I feel for them. I really feel that that's why there's so much teen pregnancy
Yeah.
on the island.
Nobody talks about it.
Yes, nobody talks about it. And so now you have these kids who are very impressionable that know nothing about how babies are formed.
Yep.
And then they're going to go try it out. Now I'm pregnant. Now
Yeah.
and now this baby that's going to be born is going to be my sister rather than my child. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
because that's a lot of the time is then they're adopted within
Yeah.
the same family and you're growing up. I mean, and then it becomes this cycle of misinformation.
And this is also why we can't date each other either in the poly community, because y'all want to just adopt and then adopt other things, and then but that's actually your sister, but it's like, but then you're calling her your daughter, so I don't actually know what you are. You know what I mean? Like that's why we did that a little bit too much.
Yeah.
Yes.
So now that's why we all connected now.
When they could have just educated
Yeah, the
the younger generation.
yes.
shortest way to avoid all this so we can all just date each other was just to educate your children. That's it. But no, y'all don't want to do that.
No.
So now we have other resources to do that for you. If you don't want to talk to your kids about it, then go play a Mile High Club episode. Play some.
Yeah.
Is lip service anywhere?
No, well, I mean, it's still it's still out there, but it's not yeah, like it's no longer in service.
Yeah. Because I was
But
like,
it should be on YouTube or on Island Block somewhere.
I was like, I've been wanting to find an episode, like just
Yeah,
that I
because
can
we
just
didn't
watch.
do it. We didn't film it.
Oh,
it was
okay.
strictly radio.
See, I need to go.
Yeah,
find
it
this thing.
was talk radio.
I need to go find
in
this
its
thing.
purest form.
Joe, I know you still have the audio files, okay? Because you keep everything. God damn it. But to wrap out this segment, I wanted to finish up with one last question. It comes back to love, you know, but like a different kind of
It's
love.
what makes the world go round.
It's what makes the world go round. Yes. I wanted to know, in your opinion, what does self-love look like to you?
Ooh, self-love. Okay. Well, a lot of different things. One of my, here goes another story.
My favorite.
But in one of my communication classes, my public speaking classes, they had us do an informative speech, right? And it was informative, but also kind of shock and awe. I'm trying to remember the actual term. I decided to speak on masturbation.
Oh,
Yeah. So when we're talking about the physical part of self-love.
yeah. That's some real self-love right there.
So for me, growing up in Samoa, again, right, you're not informed about anything. Nothing's accepted about touching yourself or doing that fun stuff. So, but I grew up where our shower was outside in the hose. Yeah, like we use the hose for the stuff. Well, once upon a time, like I was like, I want to say I was probably maybe 7 or 8 at most, and I was in this little tub and with the hose just showering like I usually would, and the hose fell down in that area, right in my private area, and I was like stunned because it brushed against something that felt quite exciting and foreign. And
You're like, wow.
wait a minute here.
You're like, do it again.
And obviously at that age, I mean, I'm only speaking Samoan majority of the time. I'm at school, I'm speaking English, but we don't have terms for these things.
Oh, yeah.
And I didn't realize until later on in life when I was more educated that was masturbation. Like I had started masturbating at an early age and not knowing, like I just knew what felt good.
Yeah.
Right. And I was like, okay. And that's what happened. And it was very shameless.
Yeah.
Because I didn't know. I mean, there was no
Nothing
title of
happened.
it being
Yeah.
wrong. Yeah. Or anything.
It just
So I
accidentally
remember
happened.
like all of me and my cousins, because a lot of us like would shower together and that's what we were just like, here's the hose, you know, like, do your thing. It's like different levels.
That was a sad experience. Showering with your cousins is a sad experience because you're all just like, I don't like this.
right?
And then you're showering by yourself and you're just like, I like this.
Yeah. This is nice.
Yeah.
Me time.
Yeah.
So my thoughts on, physical self-love, I've always been an advocate for it because you don't really know how to reciprocate love until you know how to self-love yourself, right? And discover certain parts of you, that what you like and what feels good for you, so that you can communicate that to your partner later on, right? And not have to be ashamed of it, or it just saves a lot of time.
Oh, yeah.
And a lot of guessing and a lot of pain. It saves a lot of hurt, okay? Because if you don't know physically what feels good to you, how is this other person supposed to know?
Exactly.
And then they have an idea of what, maybe they know what feels good to them, and if they do the same thing to you, it's not always going to come off the same
Right.
way.
Yeah.
So there's that, but then also self-love to me in more of the emotional state and spiritual way is education, honestly, and not education in the traditional sense of going to school, and I mean educating in the sense of learning. Like self-love for me is always being open to learn, like learn something new, whether it's through books, whether it's through relationships, and one of my biggest thing that's always stayed with me through all my changes is people. I equate love and self-love and self-education with people. Like, I love people. And that's why I'm in the business I'm in.
Yeah.
So that's part of my self-love package, is to make sure that I surround myself with all different walks of life.
And I love you.
I love you guys too.
You see why I didn't want to go down like this weird ass little path that I usually go down with, like, you know, other guests. Not to say that y'all ain't special or nothing, but I everything you've said, like, I'm telling you, I take with me, like, and I move forward with, and I'm probably gonna apply all this shit to my life, honestly, because my life is a mess and I need to get it together.
Oh, please don't get it wrong.
Yeah.
I'm still a hot mess, very much so. You caught me on a good night.
You caught me on the night I was speaking wisdom, bitch.
All the wisdom was coming out today.
Well, thank you for speaking wisdom today and not speaking mess today. But on that note, so we're going to wrap out Flame Out. So we're going to go into our musical break. This is Nothing by Fiji and Etu off of Fiji's new album. Woo! Yeah. And then after that, we're going to come back with Zero In with Dora.
So I called at 2 a.m, say, come back to me, please. Even though I know you're just break my heart again. It's just another minute, even a moment, baby, that's all that I jump off a plane, talking on my chest for you. They let that shit ride.
And we are back again. That was Nothing by Fiji and Edu off of Fiji's new album. I forgot what it's called,
Indigo.
but yeah, Indigo.
Yes, that's what.
Tell me what I was going to say. Incognito. Thank you, kids, for laughing. Made me feel so much better about the joke.
You should always have a live audience.
I know. Well, just these
Or a
two
laugh track.
supportive.
No, yeah,
just
laugh
these two
track.
supportive live audience.
Just your kids.
Yeah.
But as I say in every episode, don't forget to follow us on Instagram. Well, actually, I don't say it in every episode. I forget sometimes. But don't forget to follow us on Instagram at Official Mile High Club. Don't forget to follow each of us. And don't forget to follow our very special guest. Go ahead and drop your handles one more time.
Please, at MyzLulu, at Myz Lulu, at Island Block Radio. Yeah, stalk us.
Yeah.
We need stalkers in our lives.
But the kind that like
Support.
Like
Well,
if I put
even
something,
then, like, just stalk me however you want to stalk me.
she's speaking for herself, okay? Don't stalk me. I fight, okay? I fight. But we're going to be going into Zero In with the voice of reason, Miss Dora.
Yeah.
So Zero In, I kind of wanted to touch on different topics today, but basically it's just like zeroing in on you as a person since you're our first guest this season.
Yeah.
But my first question is, many of us know you from Island Block as one of the best hosts on stage.
Oh, thank you.
But you also wear many hats, so kind of how do you balance that all?
Oh my gosh. I don't, honestly. To be completely
today
honest.
you are.
No, yeah, today you're doing a real good job.
Talk about balancing. I had to bring my kids to this interview because I couldn't find anybody to watch them.
Oh, yeah.
We're both me and my husband are in the entertainment field, and that makes it really hard. Yeah. So we don't have your classic 9 to 5 hours. And so after school, I mean, I was very, very grateful once the kids were able to go to school for a certain amount of time,
right,
so that I could feel even like a human being for a second. But right now, especially after being a mom, it's just that's like the main hat you wear a lot of the time. Like, I never wanted to be a stay-at-home mom. I never wanted to feel like a single parent. But when both of you are in the entertainment field, there's a lot of sacrifices that come with it. And so, you know, one of the other hats I wear is like when my partner isn't there, when my husband's not around, I'm dad, I'm mom, I'm friend, I'm never teacher, because I'm the worst. I'm the worst teacher ever.
You weren't teacher during the pandemic.
Yes, exactly. Oh no. I was teaching him all bad things. By example.
This is how you don't do your homework.
It was terrible. It's like, this is you eat ice cream for breakfast, and it was a hot mess. It was totally, we were in a world of difference. But yeah, balancing has been really hard. I think one of the biggest things that I've learned through trying to balance out and wear different hats is learning how to be kind to myself. Because your mortality comes into play. I've never felt more mortal than I have ever since I've become a mom and a wife and trying to have a career on top of it. It's because you know your limitations. And that's the hardest thing to admit.
Yeah.
Right? Especially to somebody like me who has always thought of the world as limitless.
Oh, yes.
And the world might be limitless, but I'm not.
Yeah.
And really learning what I can do anything, but I can't do everything. And that's been it's one of the hard lessons to learn too.
I told y'all she's speaking life into me. I told y'all this.
So just being kind to myself and to some days I feel balanced, but a lot of the days I'm completely imbalanced and being okay with being unbalanced and imbalanced.
Yeah, and that really resonates with me because I feel like I'm like the person where I'm like, oh, I can do anything, like everything. Like I'm like, yeah, I have work, and then my like family's calling me, can you do this, this, and this? And I'm like, yeah, I can do it, no problem. And then like, yeah, within these recent years, I'm like, oh, actually, I can't do that. Like, you know, I have to prioritize self-love and you know,
self-care,
like my own,
for
and
sure.
Stuff. So sorry, next weekend, you know, or like
learning how to say no and that it's not a bad thing.
Yeah.
Right. And that you have to trust that the people that are asking you for help is understanding. Like they understand that, okay, it's not out of malice that you're saying no. It's knowing what you can and can't do.
Yeah. And I feel like many women do feel like, oh, I can't say no. I have to show up for all these things, especially like for family, specifically in our culture. But like us talking about it and like people, other moms that share about it, or like Pacifica women like on social media, like really does help other people.
Oh,
like,
I totally, I completely agree. And this makes sense that you're the voice of reason.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. No, yeah. Because that little interaction that I was like, when you were going through everything, and then you were like, I'm going, like that was Dora. That was Dora.
It's like I can relate.
Yeah.
I get it.
Like,
I understand that.
If y'all knew Dora, like in 2021, that was Dora.
Oh yeah, there was definitely some times where I completely outstretched myself, and what happens is everybody suffers.
Yeah.
Right? Not just you, but the people that you said you were going to commit certain projects or things to, they suffer as well because they're depending on you. And then you don't come through because you physically or emotionally or spiritually really can't come through. But that's learning more about yourself as you grow.
Yeah. Yep. And knowing your limits and being kind to yourself.
Yes, being kind to ourselves.
I know.
Self-love.
I love you first before I can love you.
Yep.
Yes.
Still working on that. Yep.
But like speaking of women specifically, since we're all women here on this couch, and
Period.
breaking the barriers, I want
Period.
like many women deal with a lot of obstacles, especially in the entertainment business. So like kind of how have you dealt with that personally or on your career, and like kind of pushed back through like some stuff you've
I've definitely slept my way to the top. No, I'm just kidding.
At least you're honest about it, y'all.
I wish. No.
It was a joke. It was a joke. Okay.
Okay, don't be calling Joe up after this. Be like, so I heard.
So I heard some things about Myz Lulu. It was a
her
joke.
own mouth.
That she admitted on the Mile High
I
Club.
was like, it was actually Tiffany Brazil. Love you, girl. No, I'm just kidding.
I don't know you. I didn't say nothing about you, girl.
Oh no. Yeah, it's when we were starting off, especially as Pacific Islanders, we started off with the barbecue show, right? And so it was not there. We had to learn on our own. There wasn't really anybody that looked like us that was doing what we were doing, you know, doing radio or doing podcasting and I just biggest shout out to Joe Sav.
No, for real.
Joe Savage Favai, because he just really had this vision for us to believe and carry on, you know, and he gave us the opportunity. So
100%.
So it was the barbecue show, and I was one of the first barbecuties on the show.
Is that what they called y'all?
We were barbecuties.
Y'all really
With
took
all the
time with that one.
Extra sauce on that.
Y'all really took the time with that one, y'all. Yeah.
Yeah. So it was very difficult I don't think I really understood how challenging it was when we first started, because mind you, you have to know the Myz Lulu that was around then, who was very limitless, who thought that she could do everything and anything. And for the most part, life was always on the up and up, right? I hadn't really struggled yet to a point where, like, when I pursued acting, I 90% of the time got the part that I auditioned for, or when I went into a competition or a contest of some sort, I was always either on the top 3. And then when I came into radio and understanding, but specifically, it wasn't just, it was on a smaller scale, but so huge in the Pacific Islander community because we were the first of its kind.
Yes.
If I should be so bold to say that, but we were the first.
We saying it.
Yeah. We were the first of its kind. So we were really just flying off the seat of our pants. We were trying new things. We were Xing out certain things. We were just trying to feel relevant, right? Or needed direction of some sort.
Yes.
But we had fearless leaders who gave us opportunity. And so we never quite felt the sting of being a female in the industry. And we had just really respectful males who were nothing but positive and uplifting for us to be able to do what we do and then grow in it as well. Like, there was never a glass ceiling for us. And so I can't really, I don't understand I can't really relate in that sense when it comes to radio. Now, of course, in the acting business, it's a little bit different. When I was getting into radio, I was transitioning over to film, and I could definitely see how much more difficult that would be, because now we're mixed into all the different cultures. We're now having to rely on our contacts, and not necessarily your talent or your skill. It was a bonus if you had that, but it was really who you know and what you're willing to do for it. So I think God was really looking out for me to pivot me in the direction of radio when I never thought that that's something that
you would do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, no, this is not a face for radio once again.
Everybody needs to see this face.
So thank goodness that we're now filming radio.
Yeah. Like, if you said I had a face for radio, I would punch you in your throat, like, straight up.
Exactly.
I'm cute. Shut up.
Thank you. So yeah, but I hope that answers your question.
No, yeah, because I guess, like, not everybody experiences it, but, like, you were surrounded by uplifting males, you know, because, I mean, you just were, like, one of the few that got to experience that, because not everybody does.
But if I was to be completely honest as well, I'm pretty as well. You know, I mean, like, having to know that about yourself is that, okay, I'm also good looking. So I don't know what it would feel like to maybe not be as attractive and try to pursue this career.
I get you.
You know what I'm saying? And when I first started off, I was like 50 pounds lighter. So, and youth was my best friend. I might feel young, but I was looking it too.
Yeah.
So there's that other struggle that I've heard a lot of other females that are in the industry have had to struggle with, because they kind of pick and choose. Oh, but do you look good? Or even if you're doing radio or in this industry, it's about looking good. It's about, you know, and if you know a little something, cool. But as long as we can look at you, you know? Yeah. And so that, for me, I think one of my biggest strengths was, because my foundation was in reading and in educating myself in my craft, that the pretty face then became the bonus versus the other way around.
Yeah.
Is that now my skill and my talent was the forefront versus that I look good on camera, or I look, or I sound good, or I, you know, like I backed it up before they even saw me. And then when they saw me, they're like, oh, well, damn.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're like, this
Like,
ain't
you're not
just a
too bad
pretty
to look at.
face.
Yes.
I can educate everybody and entertain.
It's just a bonus. I'm pretty as fuck.
I'm just blessing you with my presence right now.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Being able to carry a conversation is definitely a tool that I've tried my best to hone.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you've definitely, I feel like, perfected it, because, like, many people think, like, oh, just start a podcast, or like let me come on. Like my family, like my own cousins and stuff, like, let me come on. And I'm like, oh, so what are you gonna talk about? And they're like, and I'm like, yeah, it's not.
what I
We're just
thought.
not just sitting here. Like
So
we
we
have
make
to,
it look easy.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you for thinking that you can do this, but I'm going to tell you right now, you can't.
There's work and effort in this, guys.
It took us a while to get here too.
That's for sure. Oh my Lord. I can't. If they could just see us, I would give anything for like a reunion or of some sort to where our whole island block life.
Oh, God.
Started from barbecue from the beginning to that. I was like, oh my gosh. I'd
You
probably be cringing.
No,
the whole
yeah,
time.
I know. Up until like last year, you probably be like, "No, I don't want to see all that
Yeah.
shit." Like,
oh my gosh, did I say what? Oh my Lord, I'm an idiot.
oh yeah, that's why I'm really glad that, like, honestly, at a certain point during the Mile High Club, I'm gonna delete all of season 1 and just pretend like it never existed.
I get that. When it was just Joe, Savage, and Q, they could not, for the life of them, go back and listen to it. I think they listened to and they go, what in the hell were we thinking? Especially Joe. Joe he was cracking us up because he's like, I felt really illiterate that I couldn't really speak. I was like, what, am I a mute? Like, he's just, poor Q would try to throw him questions or something. And he goes, yup.
Yep.
And he was very hood, right? He was yup.
Yeah, dog.
So he was like, I hope those files have been lost forever.
I know you got him somewhere.
Yeah, we're gonna find them and bring
You
them
got him
out.
somewhere.
We're gonna expose you. I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
The next time you criticize my interview skills, I'm gonna expose you. I'm gonna bring up this barbecue show.
Yes,
episode.
exactly.
I'm kidding,
It's
I'm
like,
kidding.
really? Because I do recall.
I recall this moment.
This wasn't even a complete sentence, let alone a thought. What are you talking about?
But that's also why Joe's like more qualified to call you, because he went through that. He went through that himself.
He was the original.
Yeah.
He really was. He and Q were the guinea pigs for this whole thing. I commend them for even wanting to take on such a huge
Right.
feat.
Yeah.
Because, oh Lord, that sure helps all of us.
Oh, it does.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they've like perfected their craft and worked on it so much and stuff.
They're
like,
incredible.
Yeah.
You have that. They definitely hone that whole thought of when hard work wins out, when talent beats talent, when talent doesn't work hard.
Yeah.
And that's what they are.
Oh, yeah.
They worked their ass off to even start this and really believe and strive forward when there was so many naysayers and when there were so many dead ends.
Yeah.
To just keep striving forward to give us this space, this soapbox to be able to share our stories and to share our talents and our skills.
Yeah. Just to wrap up this segment, Zero In, you gave us a lot of advice and wisdom. So I wanted to ask, what is the best advice that you have ever received?
The best advice I've ever received is probably to keep your word. Promises are a very big thing to me. And who gave me that advice? My dad. Definitely. He was a man of his word. And that was he would always tell me to, if you're going to say you're going to do something, then you better do it.
Mm-hmm.
Or you better be on your deathbed and you're physically unable to fulfill that commitment. So that's a really big thing for me. I want to say that when people are to think about me, when it's all said and done, I want them to say that, I could always depend on her to do what she said. And I always, when I think about Lulu, I think about the fact that she showed up.
Yeah.
And she did what she said she was going to do, and she kept her promises. And that was the biggest thing for me, I think, also with my marriage, because I didn't mention it before, but I've never thought about marriage. I never thought I'd get married. I'm not a claustrophobic person, but the thought of being in a marriage made me feel very limited, made me feel claustrophobic,
Yeah.
for lack of a better term, because I came from a broken home and I saw the pain and the hurt that caused to come from one of the most fairy tale families, or the idea of marriage, to the complete like Jerry Springer version of it. And that brokenness made me run away completely from the thought of marriage, until I met Mata, who, yes, the one. No, he drugged me, to be completely honest, and then I woke up married. No,
And with 2 kids.
Yeah.
but his he was so gung-ho about marriage, and his idea of marriage is not just, it's what it's founded on, right? What marriage is supposed to be. And I loved that, and I wanted to be a part of it. But the thing that made me hesitant was the promise part of it. Was I strong enough in myself, or did I think that I could keep such a huge promise of forever? Forever is a big, especially when my ideals are, I didn't believe in soulmates. I didn't think there was just one person for someone. You know, I always thought that we'd live different lifetimes in our present lifetime, to where it's like, okay, you need different people.
Yeah.
In that walk, in that journey. That's my, not one person in my mind could fulfill all of your needs and wants. Right? And so that promise to me was very, very tough.
Yeah.
And not because I just wanted to go whore around, you know, but because then there's this whole other person that I had to think about. I'm not just responsible for myself anymore. There's this other person's feelings and their needs and their wants that I'm putting this commitment in. And do I believe in forever?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do I believe in forever?
That main part. Yep.
Yes. And still to this day, it's a moment at a time. You know, it's coming back and remembering that I made a promise. And so keeping my word and making a promise for me is more, or is better than writing a contract or signing a contract.
Right.
Yeah.
So if anything on the Mile High Club episode today is that I want to be remembered as somebody that kept her promises, that did what she said she was going to do.
Showed the fuck up and showed the fuck out. Yes. Because that's what she did this episode.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, this was so good, Lulu.
This was so much fun. I also have to admit, as much as I love interviewing people, I hate being interviewed. And I don't use hate a lot, but
Yeah.
it is very, not so much, well, vulnerable, yes, which I'm not afraid to be vulnerable, but I don't like the limelight or the focus to be on me, because I'm such a big fan of people
Yeah.
and their stories and their lives. And then I tend to forget, like, oh shit, I'm a person
Yeah.
too. And apparently I have a story.
Yeah. Hello.
People
Like
want
when
to
you
know
say
about
advice,
me.
I'm all,
Yeah.
I am so unqualified to give advice. Please trust you me. If there is even a remote chance that you have gotten anything out of this, it was pure accident.
Don't tell her. It was on purpose, okay? I don't care what she says. She knows what she's doing.
It was a pure accident.
I don't care what she says. Anything you learned from this, she knew what she was doing, okay? Because believe you me,
Maybe it's because I just don't want to be responsible for anybody's actions.
you're not. Listen, if
But here's the advice I want to give you. Don't listen to anybody.
listen, I'm gonna take everything that you said. And I'm honestly, because I have to edit this shit, so I'm gonna listen back to this shit again. And trust me, I'm gonna take all these little quips too. But if I fuck up, and that's on me. All right, I'm not gonna put that on you.
Oh, thank goodness, Kay, it wasn't me.
It wasn't you. Shaggy said it. I'm gonna say it too.
Yes.
No, and like the one thing we've always said from season 1 is take everything we say with a grain of salt.
Yes.
Yeah. Because we're not perfect.
We're not
Nobody's
professionals.
perfect. Yeah. We're not professionals, so take it with with a grain of salt.
You want real advice? Go see a therapist, y'all. Like,
Yes.
Yeah.
Even them. Be selective.
be selective with your
Yeah.
therapist. Yes. Go see Dora's aunt. Moana. Shout out
Shameless
to
plugs.
Yeah, shameless plug. Shout out to Out of My Head podcast.
Or Rosie guest star.
Where I guest started on episode 1.
Her 10th podcast.
Listen, I like it, y'all.
This is so fun, guys. Thank you
that's
so
fun.
much.
Thank
No, thank you
you.
for coming.
This
And
is
then
awesome.
just to wrap up today's episode, we will recap Flame Out and then recap Zero In.
Oh, so with Flame Out, there wasn't really a solid, but it's Valentine's Day, and we talked about love. Every single question, amazingly enough, circled back right around to love. So
That
Yep.
was Flame Out.
that was
right?
Flame
Yeah.
Out. And if you want to hear back any of Lulu's anecdotes, just click on back. Click on back, because you're gonna learn something, maybe something
And
new.
also, Rosie needs a Valentine.
I do.
Hit her up today while you're
Right.
listening to this right
Today,
now.
in the comments.
At 9 p.m. Yeah.
She loves morning dates. 6 a.m. Call her up.
Listen, girl. I don't know.
You're like, wait, what?
I was like, I don't know who told you that, but
She'd be like, I'm at work.
I'd be like, listen, I know Lulu said 6 a.m. No, I'm at work right now, boo. But after Flame Out, we jumped into Zero In with the voice of reason, Dora.
Zero In, we talked about the many hats that Lulu wears and how she tries to balance them. And then talked about best advice. And I feel like circled back to love.
Yep.
So love is just the theme of today's episode.
Happy Valentine's Day,
Yeah,
y'all.
happy Valentine's Day. And with that being said, we have arrived at our destination. See you guys next episode.
You have now arrived at your destination. Thank you for choosing Flight 5280 with
The Mile High Club.